I'm Sonia Doubell, and we are with the fabulous Hazel Courteney in London. And Hazel is a journalist, an author, an inspirational speaker, and actually, Hazel, you came to this path by a sort of divine intervention.
Yes.
Back in 1998, you were a journalist for the Sunday Times, an editor for the health section. And can you just tell us briefly what happened?
Sure. As you say, I was a columnist for the Sunday Times, a health journalist, and I went into Harrods in London, very famous store, in April 1998, and the turnstile in the bread hall got stuck. And it wouldn't go forward, wouldn't go back, and in those few seconds it was as if a volcanic eruption of energy went off inside my body. And within 3 or 4 seconds I could hear voices shouting in my head that I knew hadn't come from me. And huge pains in my chest, head. The doctor thought I'd had a massive heart attack. And by the time they got me to the doctor, as he was listening to my heart, I realised that I was feeling his thoughts in my head. I could feel what he was thinking. And so as my whole experience unfolded, I became incredibly telepathic, very psychic. I could see people's potential futures. I was giving intense healing through my eyes. I could see other realms of existence. It was a huge experience. And over that Easter of 1998, I underwent an intense near-death experience with a medical doctor present. And the whole experience, which went on to last 6-7 months, was to change the course of my life.
That is huge.
It was huge. 3 books later, huge. But the point is that I've experienced a lot of the things that I've written about. So as a journalist, I wanted to find out logical explanations in science for what had happened to me, because I'm so tired of, if you like, New Age talk, where people say we are capable of giving healing. What separates an enlightened person from the rest of us? They can't really manifest objects. It's all fakery. Well, it's not all fakery, because I've seen it. And then, having met so many scientists, I now understand the science of miracles, and that's why I write the books that I now write. You can't go through an experience like that and not have it completely alter your life. You just can't.
That is amazing. It's such a journey, and I do think that something like that is divine work. I think that it's a journey that you were meant to go on.
Absolutely.
You were meant to have the reaction, needing the scientific explanation that you did to go down this. And then you've just written a book called The Countdown to Coherence.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Okay, coherence in the dictionary is defined as everything coming together as one.
Yeah.
And one of the scientists that I met, his name is Professor Frederick Travis at the Center for Cognition and Consciousness in Iowa. And what Fred told me was that based on their scientific research, which has been going for more than 20 years, they have discovered that the difference between an enlightened man or woman, a truly enlightened man or woman, and the rest of us, is that their brains are acting in a coherent fashion, meaning that their left side of the brain and the right side of the brain and their whole brain are acting as one unit. So you and your mother, father, God become as one. And what this means is that your consciousness inside you is exactly the same as the coherent consciousness that we exist inside of, which is the underlying intelligence that underlies all of existence and all of life. So when I was in that heightened state, I used to say, I am my mother, father, God have become as one. And in those moments, I didn't really understand what I was saying. But at our core, that's what we are. That's what God is. Total, pure coherence. But the difference between me and you and many of us is that the true masters of self have learned to integrate and maintain this coherence. Because when you have access, unfettered access to other levels of reality, believe me, it can cook your brain. And there's an awful lot of people in mental homes that are having these huge spiritual breakthroughs, and they haven't the faintest idea of what's going on. And when you can hear voices non-stop, when any question that you ask, the answer comes back to you automatically, you have to learn how to differentiate between what's coming from your own subconscious, your own ego, and what is coming from other universal sources. So this is a massive subject.
There are so many layers to consciousness and existence and being.
Hugely, sure.
It's amazing. Finding this coherence between the left and right brain and becoming one. What is that something that is possible for normal
Absolutely,
people?
for anybody, for all of us. We all have access to what's called this vacuum level of reality. Just because we can't see something, it doesn't mean to say it's not there. And what people like physicist Bill Tiller have shown is that if you, through sustained intention, meditation, if you tune into the space between your thoughts, you can couple with these non-physical levels of reality. It's known as the magnetic information wave level. Most people would know it as the etheric level. But that's a way where you can bring the non-physical into the physical. And they've shown that sustained, focused intentions and thoughts create your physical reality. This is really important research. So I would say to people, be kinder to each other, start forgiving themselves and each other, start practicing meditation. Chanting helps bring your brain to coherence. And what happens as your brain starts to act in a more synchronized and coherent fashion, an area called the thalamus in the center of the brain, which is linked to sight, touch, smell, hearing and so on, really ramps up. And this means that I could hear more, I could smell more, I could see more. And so we all have these inherent abilities. People think perhaps that people who are very psychic, very intuitive, very sensitive, that these are really rare people. But if you practice by chanting, by meditation, or whatever means it may be, then you can wake up this area in the center of your brain. Your brain starts over time acting in a more coherent, synchronized fashion, and you too then become more coherent at every level of being. You have to eat more of the right foods. You have to eat foods that are on the right frequency wavelength for your body. You mix with people that are like-minded. You stay away as much as you can from violence, which gives out a really horrid frequency. So it's a question of, as you say, God's house, or whatever you want to call it, has many mansions. There are myriad levels of reality. And so if you want to go home to who you really are, you have to be willing to do it all.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hazel Courteney.
Like physicist Bill Tiller have shown is that if you, through sustained intention, meditation, if you tune into the space between your thoughts, you can couple with these non-physical levels of reality. It's known as the magnetic information wave level. Most people would know it as the etheric level. But that's a way where you can bring the non-physical into the physical. And they've shown that sustained, focused intentions and thoughts create your physical reality. This is really important research. So